I was 22 at the time, Halloween of 2023. It had been a crazy long day at the community center, parents and kids everywhere, costume contests, dodgeball, candy trivia, the whole 9 yards. Fun? Yeah. Exhausting? Absolutely. I got home, ready to crash on the couch, when my little sister, Savannah, called. She was 15, and her little brother Jackson, 11, was with her. Neither of their parents felt like taking them trick-or-treating, so naturally, it fell to me. I sighed, threw on some clothes, and headed to my parents' house. Savannah was finishing her Raven costume, white face makeup, black cloak, the works. Jackson was decked out as Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. Once they were ready, we drove to a busy neighborhood full of decorations and kids. At first, everything was normal. Friendly neighbors, candy, even a guy handing out hot dogs and sodas instead of sweets, said kids needed protein. After a while, we hit the last house. Time to walk back to the car. The street felt too quiet. That's when I saw it. Across the street, in a yard with no lights, a figure was standing completely still. At first, I barely noticed. But then, I realized they were watching us. A hooded cloak, black outfit, full face mask. No way to tell if it was a man or a woman. I whispered to the kids, "Stay close. Don't stare. Just take a quick glance." Jackson laughed. Thought it was a prank. Savannah, she went pale. She whispered, almost trembling, "Please, don't let them take us." She knew I carried a Glock in my backpack. We kept walking. The figure stayed in the same spot, then moved. Closer, closer. By the time we were about 50 feet from the car, heavy-booted footsteps echoed behind us. I turned, and my stomach dropped. It was the same person. This time, no cloak. Tactical vest, boots, black pants tucked in, full black mask. This wasn't a costume. This was serious. I whispered to the kids, "Do not stop. Do not look back. Just keep walking." The figure maintained distance, but was definitely following us. We reached the car, still following. I made a split-second decision. I pulled out my Glock, aimed at the figure, and said, "Why are you following us?" The figure froze, then slowly pulled off the mask. A woman, mid-30s, expressionless, her voice robotic. "I'm an undercover cop. There was a break-in reported. I saw you looking suspicious. Thought you were involved." Her story made zero sense. I lowered the gun, keeping the kids' safety first. I asked again, "If you're undercover, why full tactical gear and the cloak earlier?" She didn't answer, just stared, then smiled. Slow, creepy, unsettling. "If you didn't have that gun, this night would have ended a lot different for you." Then 4 more figures stepped out between the houses. 3 men, 1 woman, all in tactical gear, blank, soulless faces. I yelled, "Get in the car, now!" Savannah and Jackson jumped in. I got in, locked the doors, and sped off. The woman stayed, smiling. The others just watched, like we were prey that got away. A few days later, I got a text from an unknown number. Just 1 photo, my car, taken in my apartment lot. Later, I checked the neighborhood's doorbell cams. Nobody saw her. Nobody recorded her. Police couldn't investigate without a direct threat. The house where I first saw her. No break-in, nobody aware of anything. Whoever they were, they knew me. They weren't random. That night changed everything. Cameras installed, therapy, constant awareness. 2 years later, I still think of that smile and the 4 figures in the dark. Being armed that night probably saved our lives. Lesson: on Halloween, the danger isn't always fake. Sometimes the people standing in the shadows are real monsters. When I was 12, my family decided to do something different for Halloween. Instead of going trick-or-treating in our neighborhood, we stayed at a small family resort about an hour away from home. It was a cute little place, maybe 10 cabins, a main lodge, a small lake, and a long open field surrounded by woods. During the day, everything seemed fine, almost too peaceful. Kids were running around in costumes, booths with games, pumpkin carving, and a hayride, all decorated with orange lights and fake spider webs. I met another kid my age, Ryan, staying in the cabin next door. We played games, collected candy, and had a blast. As evening fell, the hayride began. The tractor moved slowly through the darkened woods, torches lighting the dirt trail. Workers dressed as zombies jumped out to scare people. Standard fun stuff. But then, I noticed something strange. At the edge of the woods, a man was standing completely still. Not part of the hayride, no costume that fit the theme, just watching. He wore a black jacket, jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low over his face. I made eye contact, or at least I thought I did, and it felt like he was staring right through me. I thought I saw him move behind a tree, or was it my imagination? I tried to ignore it. Maybe it was a worker taking a break. The woods seemed a little too quiet, like something was waiting. But when the ride ended and everyone got off, I saw him again. Near the snack table, 30 feet away, just standing, watching us. Ryan shrugged it off. Maybe he's a dad or something. I knew he wasn't normal. Later, we decided to walk around the resort before heading in. Ryan dared me to go down a trail behind the cabins into the woods. I didn't want to, but there was no way I could chicken out. The farther we walked, the quieter it got. The resort's sounds faded, leaving only the crunch of leaves under our shoes and the occasional snapping branch. I felt a chill run down my spine. We stopped near a clearing with an old wooden sign that said, "Private property." Just messing around like dumb kids do, throwing small rocks pretending to summon ghosts. Then we heard it. Heavy, slow footsteps coming from behind. I froze. Ryan whispered. Probably another kid, but this was too heavy, too deliberate. A calm, low voice broke the silence. "Hey there, boys." It was him, the man from the hayride, black jacket, hat low, short beard, standing in the light just enough to see part of him. "What are you two doing out here?" he asked. "Want some candy?" He held up a Reese's cup, smiling like it was no big deal. Ryan and I didn't move. Our stomachs dropped. I whispered, "Run!" We sprinted down the path toward the resort, footsteps pounding behind us. He was chasing. The smell of wet leaves, the snapping of twigs, and my lungs burning made it feel like the world had shrunk to just him and me. He moved in and out of the trees, fading in and out of sight. Every time I dared to glance back, he was closer, or maybe just teasing us. We burst out of the woods, yelling for help. Adults turned, startled. We didn't stop until we reached the crowd near the bonfire. The man? Gone. No trace. Cameras showed nothing. No footprints. No one nearby. The police arrived later, took statements from us and our parents. They searched the property but never found anyone matching his description. Weeks later, I kept seeing him in my mind, on the side of the road, outside stores, even once in the school parking lot. But it was always someone else. The thing that chills me most? It wasn't what he did. It was what he could have done. If we'd hesitated even for a second, if we had trusted him. I don't know if I'd be here to tell the story. Since that night, whenever I see someone standing alone at the edge of a crowd, my heart races. Sometimes the people who look like they're part of the fun are watching for a completely different reason. And sometimes I still feel like he's out there, waiting. This happened 3 years ago when I was 29. I live alone in a small house on the outskirts of town. That year, Halloween fell on a Saturday, and I was actually excited. I work an office job, boring but steady, and I usually get stuck with the late-night shifts or extra tasks no one wants. Since I didn't have kids, I spent the evening handing out candy. The street got quiet once trick-or-treating ended around 9 p.m. By 10:30, I was lounging on the couch, half watching a horror movie, picking through leftover candy. Then, I heard a faint knock at my side door. I assumed it was just a straggler, someone too late to get candy. But when I opened the door, nothing. Just my empty driveway, leaves rustling in the night. 15 minutes later, the sound came again. This time it was from the back door that leads to the small deck. Alarm bells went off in my head. Whoever it was, they were trying to be quiet, testing the door. I crept into the kitchen, staying low. That's when I saw him. A man crouched near the door, dressed in dark clothes, a cheap Halloween mask pushed up on top of his head. In his hand, a crowbar. He wasn't hiding. He moved deliberately, calmly, like he knew I was inside. I backed away quietly, grabbed my phone, and whispered to 911. The operator stayed on the line, telling me to stay put, lock myself somewhere safe, and don't engage. I peeked down the stairs. He moved away from the back door, then the basement window. I whispered, "He's at the basement." Glass cracked. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just a smash and grab. He knew I was inside. Minutes felt like hours. I stayed crouched, whispering updates to 911. Footsteps circled the house. Then headlights swept across the blinds. Police arrived. The man bolted. I watched him sprint across my yard. Not far. A cop tackled him just past my driveway. When they led him back in cuffs, I saw what he had in his bag: a crowbar, duct tape, zip ties, kitchen knives, and a .45 handgun. This wasn't a typical burglary. The police later told me he was linked to other break-ins, even suspected in missing persons cases. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every little sound made me jump. Even today, whenever I hear footsteps outside, I remember that night. The scary part: if the police had been just 5 minutes later, I don't know if I'd be here to tell this story. Halloween was supposed to be about scares and fun, but that night it was real terror.